Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay. I think that's as far down as I'll keep the sound. I hope the sound balance is okay. I'm trying to do a different thing where I'm trying to have slightly better than horrible sound, so I actually borrowed a microphone for this video. Okay? So, I'm up in my game here in quarantine. Alright, so, if anyone's still out there, the last video I made. fucking. The last video I made was about the idea of making a Enchantress. And by the way, I'm saying up front that this is a vanilla single player. I'm going to lean in on the mic on this one. Vanilla single player Enchantress. Okay? That means no dream, no ladder only rune words, none of that. And so, okay? Just want to say that up front. So, when I made that video, I was first talking about, we'll do skills first. I was first talking about being a frozen orb build, okay? Hybrid. You can see I'm not one now. The reason I did that is because being a frozen orb Sork is better than being an Enchantress. And so that's the first thing I have to say about this build. It's not good. That's the first thing. Okay, that's the first thing you have to understand. I was a frozen orb Sork, and I found myself all the time switching to frozen orb, using frozen orb, and I beat the game that way, and that was fine. So that's a viable build that you can do. But I decided, you know what? The idea here really was to make a melee sorceress. Okay? So if I'm just switching to frozen orb like half the time at least, because it's a better skill than making a zeal enchantress, it's just lame. It's just lame. So what I did was I switched to be just straight up enchant. Okay? And so you know the skills here. Warmth, max it out. Enchant, max it out. Fire Mastery, max it out. Okay? And those are really the 3 skills you got to do. And then you have a bunch of skills left over. And there's really 2 options. You could be a hybrid, which I decided not to be. Or maybe you could be an energy shield Sork. And that's what I decided to do. I have mixed feelings about energy shield. I kind of like it. I like the idea of it on paper. And I do think it's cool, but it requires a lot of investment, both in skills, which is okay on this character, also in gear and the way you set up your character. It really is very important. So, a little primer on how energy shield works, and honestly I can't remember because it's quite complicated, but basically points in energy shield itself, this, what it really changes is the absorbs percentage. How much of your energy gets redirected from your health to your mana. What telekinesis does is it determines how much your mana goes down. Okay, if you get hit for 100 damage and you absorb 72%, that means 28% is going to your life. And depending on your telekinesis skill, if you have 1 point in telekinesis, then more than 72 damage is you're gonna lose more than 72 mana. If you have max telekinesis, as I do, you're gonna lose something less than 72. I don't remember exactly the percentage. It might be 0.65 per health point, something like that. So those are the skills, and I'll talk a little bit as I get into the gear about why I decided to be an energy shield Sork. So, I would say this build has given me more difficulty and trouble than any other build I've ever attempted, because it's not a very good build. Defensively kind of weak. Offensively, it's okay. The damage is okay when you're not battling fire immunes. And you might be wondering, if I'm a pure Enchantress Sork, how do I deal with fire immunes? And the answer is I let my Merc do it completely. Okay? My Merc, Reaper Stole, Tretch, Guillaume, and I just enchant the Merc, and I do static field, and then I let my Merc deal with it. And that's literally how I deal with fire immunes. I did use at one point an Azarath. I tried using Azarath. The problem with that for me was Azarath, you could only do single attack, which is not very good. The additional damage, the magic and cold damage, is not that much either, so it makes hardly any difference. And Passion is better. It gives you zeal, it Gives you an attack rating bonus. It's just kind of better. Azarath is good, but the Zeal is really great because Zeal is an uninterruptible attack, which kind of means when you have Zeal going, you don't really need faster hit recovery. It just makes it, your attacks don't get interrupted. It feels a lot better to play Zeal than single attack. All right, I'll put it that way. You do more damage, you hit faster. So that's the first piece of gear. That's mandatory, pretty much. Passion. Okay, gotta be in a phase blade because otherwise you'll never hit the max breakpoint. And what is the max breakpoint? Well, you need 40 off weapon IIS. Okay, the way I do that, IK, boots and gloves, and 15 IES in the Shaco. It could be in any other thing. The reason I have the IES in the Shaco, it doesn't matter, but it's just because I was switching out. On this build, I've switched out literally every single piece of gear except the Shaco. As we all know, Sorks get crap for vitality. You get 2 life for every point in Vit, so Sorks are very dependent on straight life bonus, and my mana pool is not very good even for an ES Sork because I have to go max block and I need so much strength, and I don't have a CTA. So it's just got to be Shaco. I don't know. I can't. I think it just has to be Shaco. You might want to Guillaume for like crushing blow. But honestly, instead of having it, I have no crushing blow in the character, and I just use stacked field, and I think it's fine. Honestly, I think it's fine. But that's a compromise that I had to make. Okay, so, and the reason I went IK, gloves, and boots is kind of like a complicated trade-off between all my other pieces of gear. For a while I was gloves and belts, because the belt, I still have it in here, has light and fire. That's good, but it also has a bunch of strength I don't really need. And the belt I use now, Trangul's, the reason I did this really is because it has Cannot Be Frozen, a nice straight life mana bonus, and Replenish Life. Replenish Life, I'll talk about, it's very useful for an energy shield. And because that has Cannot Be Frozen, that freed up my rings, okay? And IK Boots has attack rating and life, and the set bonus is attack rating. This has the 25 attack speed bonus and mad stats. So it felt like this was the best grouping I could find for, of all the gear switches I did, this build has the highest life and mana balance, has the best balance, okay? So let's talk about the other thing. Viper, okay? This is a pretty dope. I didn't think I would wind up using Viper, and I tried so many different armors, but it just has everything. Skills, okay? Plus skills are important on the character to get your zeal, and because it's, it's elemental damage, so it helps to have skills on the character. So I have quite a few skills. Resistances, pretty hard to get full max res on this character, I found. I did a lot of juggling. That's why I have these rings, okay? And magic damage reduced, okay? And I'll talk about that. Shield Gurks, okay? The big reason I'm using this is because it has, again, magic damage reduce and damage reduce and replenish life, and the block is out off the chain, so it really saves you a lot of stats. And pretty good resistance. This is a perfect 30 base res. So I put it in there, and that's dope. And then the rings, so the FCR breakpoints on Enchantress are 20 and then 37, or basically 40, okay? So you could get to 20 with just an Iraq, okay? And I was doing that for a while, but it really feels nice to be up to the 40. And so now I can get the 40 with just the Viper and the one ring. So that's another reason I have Viper, and another reason I have Trangul's is because I could have this ring, which I think is pretty dope. FCR, good attack rating, okay, dex, whatever. And then light res, okay, good light res. And 11 all res, okay? And then I use this ring, which is like not the best ring I have, but the reason I'm using this ring is because it gives me a kind of a nice balance of several things, okay? It gives some attack rating, gives pretty good stats, gives a nice bonus to mana. Cold resistance, it's like, if I didn't have the ring, I would have not great cold res. And then poison length reduce. So that's honestly the number one reason I have this ring. It's a stat that almost everyone ignores all the time, including me. But for this build, because the way Energy Shield works is poison damage goes right to your life, it's just super useful. Like on the second wave of Bale, it's so useful to just have that poison length reduced. Okay, let's get into the stats. So I'll show you my buff routine. Okay, I even have a Stone of Jordan, which I probably won't keep for long on this character, but okay. So, and I have a memory staff. Oh, on Switch, memory. Okay, so that's what it does. Okay, and this one has, this base staff has some chilling armor, so I use chilling armor so I don't have to invest the stats, the points. Okay, so 83%, level 28 energy shield. Okay, all the rest of my points go in energy shield. Okay, then I switch to an enlightenment. This is a 3 energy shield Ormus, that's why I do that. Not a big deal really. Chilling armor. Okay. And then I switch to my enchant stick, which is a pretty cool little item I got here. 3 fire skills, 3 enchant. And it has energy shield. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Obviously I use the memory staff, but it has the energy shield. Pretty dope. Okay, so. Pretty nice, right? 7 to enchant. Level 40 enchant. It's not super high, but works for me. Okay, oh, and the charms, by the way. 4 fire skillers. Attack rating life. Attack rating life. Life mana. Life res. Life res. Life mana. Life mana. Life res. Res. Okay, so that's how that goes. I switch back to the memory for, you know, going out into the world, doing stuff. Okay, how do I, what's my, this thing. Okay, so here's the stats. 10k damage. It's really not so bad. It's really not so bad, actually. When you're fighting anything other than certain monsters. Some monsters, even though they're not technically fire immune, they have a lot of fire resistance. For example, the 4th wave in Bale, those like, I don't know, the big gargoyle guys with the wings, I don't know what they're called. How long am I going to play this game before I actually remember what the monsters are called? I don't care. Ooh, I'm a little laggy. So, you know, you can tell, it's not so bad. My Merc is pretty baller with the enchant. 5k damage, it may not look like a lot, but I think he basically hits like 100% of the time. And so he is pretty fucking baller on this build. And that's why I use him to just kill every fire immune. And you can see, you know, my life is okay here. Okay. Not taking too much damage. Alright, so that's some of the gameplay. This is dangerous because I have amp damage on me. Woo. So this is a viable build. You know, I keep saying it's not good. It works. It works. Okay. Oh, whoa. That looks pretty cool. Holy crap. Ah, 2 socket. Look at that. Should I keep it? Is that worth anything? Are there any 2 socket? Okay, I'll keep it for the end of the video, and then I'll go look up if there are any rune words for it. Anyway, this is going to go too long, like all my videos. But, you know, so I'm saying this is the best setup that I could come up with. If anyone has better setups, please tell me from the gear I have. You know, I don't have the runes to build another Chains of Honor. That would probably be the best armor, okay? A couple builds I want to maybe try is... One, I want to maybe try again using a straight life build, which would look something like, and someone commented this on my last video, which is who gave me the idea, using like a GA plate plus a storm shield for like just massive resistance and damage reduction. Because I started this character as a straight life build, but it was just so squishy. No matter what I did, I had a lot of damage reduction. I had tried to get max resistance, and it was just like, man, I just died all the time. So energy shield I found gave me more survivability. Okay. Oh, another reason I was going to say why I went energy shield. So I had Drax on the character, but you know, when you have Drax, it really like, when you're locked in using Drax, it really limits you. And so my physical damage is so low that I basically cannot steal life and mana. Life steal and life mana steal don't work very well. And I know there's life on kill. I know there's mana on kill. I find it's better. It worked better for me to use the regen from warmth and the life replenish from these 2 things. And that's how I get my life and mana back. And I use energy shield. And I do use pots. I use pots sometimes. I use pots all the time on this character. Okay? So yeah. This character is still pretty squishy. It does sometimes die. Especially when... like Dead Souls, monsters that have high elemental damage or mana burn monsters when they like kill my mana in an instant. And that's why you need high resistances still, because when you lose your mana, and it happens to me, if I had a CTA, that would change the game on this build. But when I lose my mana, you know, I still have 600 life and max res, so I don't die immediately. So it's okay. So I don't usually die on this character if I'm not totally stupid. But you have to play a little smart. You have to use teleport. You have to run around. You know, that's why it's nice to have these 40% run walk on the IK boots, by the way. So anyway, so I might try a life build with a different setup, or maybe an intermediate build where I have a low level energy shield and then a high level, high percentage damage taken goes back to mana. That might sound crazy, but I want to try that, okay? Anyway, trying to keep this relatively short. I can't do a ton of gameplay because my video is very laggy when I try to do gameplay. But you saw a little bit, so yeah, that's the build. It's alright. It's okay. You know, it sort of works. So, I don't know. If you got better ideas, let me know. Oh, and the reason I don't have anything in the Vipers, whenever I decide on the final setup of this character, I have a 5/5 fire facet that I'm saving for it. So I want to put a fire facet somewhere. I would like one fire facet. Another thought I had, and I just keep rambling, is using a lower resistance wand. Probably I should do that. Whoo! Oh, and I found a cham while leveling this character. That's another thing. Oh my god, I have so much crap in here. Alright, that's the video.